Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage AdTech Advisory Board member, Ian Wolfman.
Hey everyone! How you doing? How's everyone doing? Home stretch. Home stretch. All right, so we saved some of the best for last. And has anyone who's been playing the dash tag game here? All right, we got some dash tag contestants. So let me knock that out first, and let me thank our friends from Blue Calypso, which is a social media amplification company. Dash tag is one of their companies and platforms that everyone's been tagging people for points, and I just got the winners in. Let me first tell you what the prizes are. Nike Fuel Band is the third place prize. Second place prize is iPad Mini, and the first place prize is a Sonos speaker system. So, with that, let me try to conjure an announcer voice here. Third place, Samantha Chandler. Samantha Chandler here. Yeah? All right. So the the dash tag people are dash tag people are in the red all the way back there. So you can see them afterwards, and they'll arrange to be able to get your prize. The second place winner of the, what did I say it was, iPad Mini? Diana Antlocker. There you are. Congratulations, Diana. Thanks for playing. And drum roll, first place prize for the Sonos system. Tori Gikas. Anyone? Yeah? Oh, there she is. She's at the back. All right. Congratulations, Tori. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our keynote fireside chat. Two guys, two friends for years, two great friends. One of which you will know if you're in New York in the ad industry. Everyone knows him. And if you don't, you need to. Sean Finnegan of the C4 Media Group. Sean will be interviewing Kevin Jonas Jr. Kevin has been, if you know Kevin, Kevin should have been born and was born a tech entrepreneur, if you know him well. And I think he's going to give you some insights around what it's like to manage a massive social media network and work with brands, monetizing that sort of influence and advertising message over the years. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce Kevin Jonas and Sean Finnegan. Thank you.
Hey, buddy. Hey, guys.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
That's Kevin. I'm Sean.
That's Sean.
Just in case there's any confusion on that. So, Mr. Jonas.
Mr. Finnegan.
Let's, before we get started here, let's just tackle the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Which is, what is Kevin Jonas doing at AdTech?
Well, I'm looking for a job, actually, first and foremost. But no. The last several years, my focus has been for the Jonas Brothers as a band. And if you consider an artist or a band a startup, you consider there needs to be someone that runs the operations day to day and making advancements to reach your audience. And that has been my role for the last couple of years of the Jonas Brothers. But taking a different approach, because the widespread social that we do have, and then making it unique, but being able to reach millennials in a social-driven capacity and much more on a technology side. So that's why I'm here, to kind of play insight to that and how we've been able to tackle a millennial generation that doesn't really care that much. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, this is your next chapter. This is you are, you know, who better to guide and consent on the millennials than a millennial himself, who's traveled globally and
and it's interesting to see the difference in domestic to international and how different social activities play in those different areas. You know, it is an amazing thing to see that when through our travels we've been able to realize that there's not just one thing that has been the driving force behind, whether it was sales, whether it was, you know, just people showing up where we needed them to show up. It wasn't just Twitter, or it just wasn't Facebook. It was each country, each platform had a very specific one that they gravitated towards. And it's interesting how you have to monetize that and also spread your word out to the right places using the right kind of social platforms.
Well, we got a little time here. We got 52 minutes here. And by the way, if you have any questions or insights, we're going to do the hashtag JonasAdTech, which we're going to answer a bunch of those after, and actually we're going to give you guys the opportunity to speak as well.
Yeah.
But let's start off from the beginning, because I don't think that people realize that, you know, behind all the fandom, the Beatlemania, the Screaming Girls, and everything like that, that there was an actual business-based operation going on. And you guys were, you know, grassroots to big stardom.
We had a very interesting journey as a brand and as a company, and we first got signed as a band to Columbia Records. Quickly got dropped along with Alicia Keys and a bunch of other artists, Katy Perry, that, you know, didn't do anything. But so that happened, and then we moved over to Disney, where we got signed to Hollywood Records, and then things started to take off from there for us. Then we once again were able to buy back all our rights, buy out of Disney, and is the first artist and first group to ever be able to own all their rights and own the masters coming out of that corporation, which is an incredible thing for us.
Disney, yeah.
Well, it was a great partnership. You know, it's just time for it to be over, and then now it's time for the Jonas Brothers to be over. But this is, you know, it's an exciting time for all of us. And before we did decide to take, you know, this time to go our separate ways, we were making some headway in some interesting capacity, and one of those was the Jonas Brothers app. I was pretty clear that there is no reason to do anything conventional and to be disruptive in the most possible way. And for myself, I think the app space is always a unique one and an exciting one, because technology is everywhere you go, and it's always a part of your life, you know, whether it's in your phone, your computer, wherever it is. And seeing how our fans integrated into an app where it was the one place for us, we learned a lot. And we had launched an app that was about a year old, and then I took ownership of it. When I say take ownership of it, I really just decided that this is the thing, this is the project I want to make my own. So I took this app, and I said, you know, we're underutilizing what the benefits could be, and underutilizing how we can make it the best thing for us to sell not only our product, but be able to speak to our community and make it the one place that they can go to for all things. So I decided, everyone's worry was, well, you need to give it to certain outlets, and you need to give it to certain people for exclusive, and, you know, so they'll push it out. I go, well, let me take 2 big announcements, put them inside the app, and do it in a unique way, which was shoot and stream live to the app, so it gave them content, and see how fast I could grow the app. My goal was to grow it by 25,000 people in a month. So that was, you know, a pretty good number. And what I did was I made the announcement of me and my wife having a baby girl, which was really cool. And we live streamed. We had over 35,000 people live streaming into our app in a day's notice, which was really cool, because we announced it the day before, said, hey, we're going to do this. We put up a poll. Which one do you think it is? The next morning, we looked at the poll. It had over 19,000, you know, poll, you know, tallies, whatever it is, and then from there we went on and actually live streamed. We crashed the Ustream server, which was fun for us with inside the app. Well, the app, which we used Mobile Roadie as the platform, they said, no, we got more than enough bandwidth on it, so we're okay. It actually crashed all 1,000 of their other apps that were out there, which was pretty great. I take a little pride in that.
Yeah.
But then the next announcement was me and my brothers were going to go on tour, a tour that we did cancel, but we were going to go on tour, and we made another announcement, and we live streamed into that. Over 50,000 people were on it at that point, and that was still with a day's notice. We didn't want to do anything with long lead times, because we just wanted to see how active we could get the audience in an immediate force using our other socials. So that being the case, we did the same thing, and once again, we grew the app by over 150,000 people in just about a week and a half's time, which was an amazing thing to see, and how many more active users. So we grew it by an incredible amount, but also the amount of impressions to the app was really amazing.
Well, to that point on the impressions, did you start to see that your marketing mix, the promotional element started to shift? Did you start to spend less elsewhere, direct here?
Yeah, we did, because we were promoting something that was for ourselves, you know, and being our own label and being our own entity, we decided, why give away, our product? Why give away our currency when we can bring it all in-house, make it our own, make it unique to us, and still give it to our audience, but the audience that we were still trying to reach was still pulling on it and reposting it anyway. So we were getting both with that, with able to provide it with a service to people that really do care. And I think that was something to be seen with millennials in general, was they want to be focused and they want to feel special. And if you can accomplish that, it's an important thing.
Well, by the way, you gave me a little bit of taste of your crazy world this morning by tagging me in your tweet, and you pretty much broke my phone.
Oh, sorry about that.
With thousands of retweets and everything. I thought I was popular, but clearly not as much as I thought. But
actually, I want to do something real fast. I'm gonna take
everybody say hi. Kevin's going to put you out to 4 million people. Get Ashley right here.
There you go. Got it. Done and done.
So let's talk a little bit more about these elusive millennials.
Yeah.
You are one, like you said. You've been around. You've met these people. You've seen their different habits, their everything that how they consume media, communicate, transact, and more. They are, let's be honest, it's a fickle crowd. It's something where it's a complete, as I mentioned, elusive audience to brands. I mean, I can tell you from a brand and agency perspective that it's a constant mystery. Everyone just sort of thinks that it's TV, gaming, and some social.
Absolutely.
And it's nothing. It's mobile, it's social, it's time shifted, etc.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about their media consumptions. What are you seeing?
What am I seeing right now as the focus?
Sure.
I'm starting to see, with millennials in general, I'm starting to see that they're shifting off of the wide, the over the top, where everyone's making a big statement, whether it is something that is trending. Obviously, things are popular, and then they focus, and then it shifts, and it becomes popular culture. But the difference is that I'm seeing now is that people are wanting to be the next Twitter, the next Facebook. The unemployment rate right now is over 13% for all millennials between the ages of 18 and 30, which is incredibly disheartening, but at the same time, the amount of startups is unlike any other time in economic history, which is an amazing thing, but it also is a scary thing because, as we all know, startups are not something that always last. So it will be interesting to see how it impacts on a technology side and a social side.
Twitter went public today,
and
Facebook is doing well and better. But as you guys have been doing this, I don't know if you guys know this, but the Jonas Group has been near 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years.
And you've seen the cycles of certain.
Oh, we've seen the ups and downs, and we've seen how people respond to that. We've been through ups and downs. We not to just speak about the Jonas Brothers, but as a group as well, we acquired like 15 artists at one time, had our own record label, released other products. We launched something with Tim Armstrong, with AOL, with Cambio. We've done a lot of different ventures and different enterprises that really have allowed us to sink our teeth into a lot of things. And something that I've been passionate for a long time is the marketing side, coming up with the ideas, coming up with the creative, and then releasing it and then executing that. And releasing an album is very similar to how a product and a developer would work. We will create the idea, create the music, whatever it is, and then it transitions to the execution. Okay, so how are we going to roll this out? How is the platform going to look? And then, of course, it goes into the marketing, which is the most important. And depending on the partner that you have, it really speaks to the initiative that's been taking place. And I think the three things that I've seen, and I can speak to this, is the three things that I've seen are the most important for millennials are looking good, feeling good, and doing good. Those three things are kind of what...
I've got two of those.
You got, looking good and feeling good?
Yeah.
Well, being here today, doing good, right? So you're winning. Those three things, and I can speak to it in a capacity when it says looking good, it's all about you. It's all about me. The selfie is more popular now than ever before. It's all about self-gratification. And then brands also playing into that.
Right.
Warby Parker, the
eyeglass.
The eyeglass company, they've launched a huge platform where the whole concept is gratification with showing your face on pairs of glasses where you can share it to your friends before you buy them. They've created a platform that allows you to say, hey, well, I look good in these before you even buy them. Everybody's going to want that, and so that's why that company is succeeding. And then feeling good, Nike Fit is another company that has just made getting outside and being active a social excitement, and which is really, really cool. And then doing good. The the humanitarian work, the charity, that's almost not a choice for millennials. It's engraved inside who they are. It's seared into their soul, and anything that they can get their hands on that actually does something good, I feel like it makes a difference for them.
You know, this millennial crowd, the consumer in particular, there's all these contradictions and opposing forces where you have this high unemployment rate, which is, you know, obviously negative. And then at the same time, you've got the universe of these people are actually expected to, within 5 years, exceed the spending power of the boomers.
Yeah, which is an amazing thing.
Right.
So how do you sell to an audience that doesn't necessarily believe in anyone but themselves? How many people are actually trying to sell to millennials or try to reach them on some social capacity? Okay, exactly. The problem is, most brands don't realize that they don't care about you at all. They might care about your product, but they don't care about you as a company until you do something for them. And when you do that, that's how they start to feel ownership in your products and then want to succeed. And once you have them, you'll have them for years to come. And that's why you can see things like Apple. There's no reason to buy a phone with just a thumbprint scanner on it, but and sell millions of units that isn't much different, obviously, other than a quicker processor.
Right.
There's no reason it should sell as well as it does. It's because they believe in the brand.
Well, let's talk about that, because that one more opposing force is unemployment rate, trillions in spending exceeding the boomers, and at the same time consuming media that is largely free.
And that's the piece that I think people are missing the boat on. And you can put out videos, you can make things for your product, you can do different ads, you can do different things, but it's about creating an environment for them that they want to keep coming back to. And if you can make it, and that's how we saw with the Jonas Brothers app. Once you made a place for them to go to be social inside of it, the fans were able to speak to each other, but we were able to integrate all the things on the messaging we wanted to share with them. They didn't feel threatened by the message. They were making the message for themselves. And then anything we would do for them, they appreciated it and they spread the word. So selling to them became so much easier, but at the same time, it also became more organic.
So over the tour, and you playing in this marketing and business capacity role, you obviously were dealing with a lot of corporate brands and sponsors.
Yeah.
Which ones did it well? And you can leave them blank and anonymous, but just how did they approach it?
Luckily, we chose our brand sponsors really carefully because it affects us, and I think we saw that a long time ago what the brand Bible was. One partnership that was great that we did a lot of videos to, we worked with Burger King for one tour for when we did a thing they had an initiative for healthy living with it, which is apple fries, which is really cool. Not something you think of Burger King, but instead of doing a big commercial campaign, like we said, we told them, and they wanted us to do all this stuff, we said, we don't want to do anything. All we want to do is do a couple YouTube videos with the King. So we shot videos, really it was only for our own glory. We just wanted to hang out with the guy in the costume all day and just do things on tour. But doing things like that made the audience that we were speaking to feel like they weren't being threatened by a product that we were just buying to get paid for. It was really unique how we were making videos that were our positioning, and that's how, with what I'm doing now and where I'm going to be going in my future with business, is how to leverage celebrity in the appropriate way to help market and brand things to actually sell to an audience that makes sense.
And that makes a lot of sense, I think, particularly to brands and marketers, because, quite honestly, celebrity cuts two ways, right? You can see it just being an ineffective shill for somebody, you holding a glass and whatever, and not really moving the ROI-based needles. But then there's the other element where you're demonstrating the product's utility, its functionality, and also within this millennial set, that demonstrating what they have a passion for, what they like.
I think the key is, in which people are starting to see now, there's social demographics,
right?
And finding, okay, so they pay attention to this, and they pay attention to this, and pinpointing who would work best. And there's an art to it, and if you do it correctly, you will succeed in it. But it's also you're starting to see that a lot of celebrities and other people will start to tweet and start to endorse brands that they're not even endorsed by. It's because their audience, they're just sharing with them their life. Right. So it's how do you make that happen in a non-forceful way? And if you can do it, I think it's how people are actually accepting of products in a unique environment and in a social space, which is hard to break into. Truthfully, you know, you can say, "Hi, check this product out," and go buy it, but it's not the same as me saying, "Wow, I like a picture of me from my TV show that I did with my wife, ripping through the backyard on a tractor." People had no idea that I like to build and get my hands dirty and do that. I just pulled 2.5 miles of Cat 6 wire through my new house that we're building because I'm obsessed with control systems for homes. So it's things like that, and I tweeted a photo of myself pulling the wire, and it's funny to do things like that because I'm not endorsing anything, but it's part of my life. Now I'm sharing something that I'm passionate about, and then there might be a brand out there that takes notice in that, and then we can become partners in something. But it's not myself. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. It's just me expressing my life.
Well, I mean, at the size and scale of you and your brothers and other celebrities, I mean, you basically are representing the size of an audience that's an average nightly program on TV. You know, that type of following, and that also have, notwithstanding the interactive element to it.
I think what was interesting we saw was going through this process of deciding our future. Something that we got rid of as a brand immediately in the talks before we had made the official decision is I deleted the Jonas Brothers Twitter, which made my dad have a heart attack. You know, there was over 7 million people, and for a lot of people that'd be like, why would you ever do that? But it wasn't authentic.
Seriously, why did you do?
Well, it wasn't authentic. It was retweeting, reposting everything that me, Joe, and Nick were already tweeting or posting. So it just became an aggregated source. And we felt like, well, we're already speaking for ourselves, and we have this thing that's called the Jonas Brothers, but who are we really? So it was finding out the core part of the brand. And I think once we got to it, we realized who we were, and that was very liberating. It also caused a couple ripples, but it was still fun. So.
Could have just ported those over to my
I tried to just reroute the name, but
didn't happen.
There's some security issues with that.
Security.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, let's talk about you and Danny. So you're expecting a girl in February.
We're having a baby girl, which is exciting. I don't know what to do with myself yet.
So what kind of world is your daughter waking up to? What is, from a media perspective, and how are you gonna treat that?
From a media perspective?
Yeah, just consumption and communication.
Well, it will all be handheld very soon. You know, obviously, TV functionality, all of those things are all going to be at their disposal at all times. And I believe that we are a generation that's going to change the mold, but we're actually not going to be able to really do anything until her generation actually comes into the play. And we feel like we can. We feel like we can change the world, but it'll just be the stepping stones to, I think, a true revolution, which is complete freedom from all actual media sources, and it's you get what you want when only you need it, and it's your own personal space and your own personal TV and your own personal live stream and your live stream of what you want to see. So if I don't want to see HBO, I don't need to see HBO. If I want to see ESPN, I can see ESPN only, along with Huffington Post and Nickelodeon. And those are the 3 things I'll see all day because I've selected them. And I believe that if media can get there, you'll actually be able to pinpoint your audience and target your demo and not have to spend so much in widespread advertising when it's not effective. But then you're able to target your specific demo and your specific people and actually just roll that out.
Well, what's your take on that? Because the problem with reaching the millennials is as you all are a native generation to digital. Like, I'm somebody that I've adopted it. And I grew up in traditional, and then many years ago jumped on the digital bandwagon. So I'm balancing, but this is all you all know. The people spending hundreds of billions of dollars or millions this is all they know in terms of rinse and repeat, TV, print, radio, etc. This social stuff, this earned media, the owned element, the time shifting is killing them.
I think what you have to realize is you need to get them to talk about it for you. And when you can do that, you'll succeed. And it's a hard thing to break into, but it comes back to those 3 things that I was talking about. Looking good, feeling good, and doing good. Those 3 things, if your brand can incorporate them into what they're doing, I think you'll make a difference, and you'll also be able to, you'll be able to channel your vision and your direction into them, that they spread the word. And I think that that's where a lot of people have misstepped, is they want to just force it down millennials' throats when they're going to reject you. They're going to reject it. What you need to do is allow them to become the tastemaker, and then when they feel ownership, and then they'll go with you from there.
So when you're dealing with brands over the years, they're quite frankly, they're just now getting to the point to be set up operationally to handle that type of thing. What would be some advice for some of these millennial-based brands, your QSRs and the like, McDonald's, Taco Bell?
I think you need to shift and do something very specific, very unique. I think you need to truly do something disruptive, and I believe that you have to think so far out of the box that it feels uncomfortable, and it's hard for a lot of obviously publicly owned companies, and to do that there's shareholders involved. But if you can start doing things that don't make sense to the people up top, the people that are actually buying your product, I think it'll make a difference. And that's hard. Even just selling to a specific group, but by selling to them, you need to be able to speak to their soul and speak to their heart. I think that comes down to, it's a hard thing to break the mold. Look at Call of Duty, selling millions of their product each year with the same name. It's got such great recognition, but it's also such a great product, and it goes multi-platform. But integrating brands into things that are already there, like selling ads on the billboards in the game and different things, like that's great, that's cool, it's innovative, and people see it and they catch it. But it's how do you sell brands? I think I'd love to see brands being sold through a Snapchat position, which an exclusive for 10 seconds only in the store. You get the thing, you have your company Snapchat, there it is, it shows up, and that's your promotional code, but you have 10 seconds to show it at the register. If you miss it, you miss it. It's gone and it's gone. But it allows people to actually get a lot
of pulled hamstrings getting that.
There will be, but something used for something so specific, as a 10-second picture, it actually might work in a creative way. And it's doing things like that allow people to be like, oh, okay. So what you're doing is you're taking the thing I use every day, and selling me something on it in a way that doesn't feel like selling. And that's cool.
Well, how does this business, this sea change, obviously for brands, let's shift a little bit, and just how does this apply to the world you know best, which is the music business?
Music business is heading in a weird place. We're seeing everything digital, we're seeing everything online, and the CD is going out, but it's still, product is important. But it really is unique to see how quickly people are moving. Look at a girl who's very social, she's very active online, made a statement for herself by speaking about other girls in the business, and she now has the #1 song for 6 weeks in a row, and the song people love. If she's not from the US, and she's kind of a mystery, so people are buying into that. Cross-platform hit with this girl Lorde with the song Royals on hip-hop and R&B stations. She's going up the chart as well, which the song is not. So it's a full crossover hit for her. And why is that a hit? Why is it unique? And obviously the music is cool, the song is interesting, it's unique and different, but she got endorsed by other artists quickly from the beginning. She was you didn't see pictures of her. They branded her as a mystery right off the bat, and they stuck to it. And then once her voice was allowed to speak, she spoke out about anything and everything she hated. And she made ripples, she made waves, and that became social. And then people started to talk about her. And so I believe that, like London and other places, music is only sold with as big of a controversy as you are having, and a lot of people are seeing that as well with people that are very, very popular these days. People like to talk about them. Look at Miley. I believe Miley is one of the smartest people I know. She made waves for months before ever releasing a song.
That's quite a statement. You know a lot of people.
I do know a lot of people, and that includes Ian. But but I believe that from a marketing standpoint, she was very smart. She knew exactly what she was doing, and look at the success. It's shock and awe. You go from the big performance of the VMAs to be, however it was, and it was so like, oh, what is happening? Then her whole street week of her release, she's fully clothed, looks great, fully singing on SNL. Like, you get the message, you get the whole thing, and it's like, she's a smart girl.
Right. You want to take a break and take a look at this hashtag, answer some questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
You have access to it as well, I think.
Have it on this one?
Let's see if you guys, it's the, I don't know if they have it up there, but it's...
Twitter shares close at $44, by the way.
44?
$44.90. Anybody make any money today?
Anybody? No?
Exactly.
Not to the public yet. Okay, so it's Jonas Ad Tech. And we're going to call you out because some of you guys are here and you're making some snarky comments. So I'm going to make sure you get exposed. Haters can't hide in here, people. I'll just tell you that right now. If you see one, let me know. Where is it? Pause for this commercial social break.
Exactly.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Got it?
Yeah. A lot of marriage proposals. Don't these people know you're married with a
They're
child?
talking to you.
No. Not in here, in general. What was the best technology you and your brothers used to promote singles, albums, or tours?
You know, we came from a place early on where we were making music before Twitter really was what Twitter is.
Right.
Even Facebook. Our first platform was MySpace and YouTube videos. We made little viral videos, and we tried to make viral videos, and they went viral with our fans. And it's an amazing thing to see how MySpace, we used it as a platform, to really position ourselves to be able to speak to our audience. I think that was our goal number one always. We were actually really late to the game with Twitter, which was really funny. We kind of didn't jump on the bandwagon as soon as we should have, and that is something that is interesting to see, how that affected our numbers later on. But it really is, we were almost defiant because we were doing so well in another space. We were like, we're going to stick to one and not integrate ourselves into others, which actually I believe was a misstep. And a lot of people are like spreading so much over so many things, but not jumping onto Twitter so quickly allowed us not to have the kind of thing that we needed, which was an immediate be able to talk right back to our fans, which was something we were missing from our audience. And I think if we were able to do that early on, like in the MySpace days, I think things would have been very different for us now. But It is interesting to see that MySpace was such a platform for us then, but coming out of it was our own app. Like I said, using that space was really important.
A little bit to that, how can you conceivably, as a brand, which effectively in the social space, celebrities are, you're well known, you've got a large universe of followers, and these people are incredibly reactive. They're constantly retweeting, favoriting, talking back, etc. How is it that you're able to manage that kind of communication and flow? What are you doing both personally and then even analytically? Is that a word?
Letting them into your life and not just telling them what to buy. I think really opening yourself up as a celebrity or as an artist, I think that is key, because I think our generation needs to feel a connection with anything they do, and if they can feel that they're a part of your world and a part of your life, you benefit from that. And I see that on a day-to-day basis for sure, by pouring the things you love into your socials. And I think that if you can team up with the right partners, it really does benefit them and you.
Well, there's always this debate now, particularly with Facebook, in terms of the open source lifestyle that millennials are leaving. It's sort of, Zuckerberg's on the record basically saying, put it all out there, and etc. But at the same time, that's a scary proposition, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's horrible. I want to be a private person. I don't know how realistic that's going to be, but I would love to be that way. And then you have to decide what to share. But I think that there's such a loss in that with our generation. It's just like they almost have an obligation that they feel like they have to accomplish by posting. It's like they almost don't feel gratified in the moment anymore. They have to share everything that they're doing always. And it's whether it's down to the food they're eating, they post it. Whether it's the clothes they bought at the store, they post it. Whether it's the first day of school or whether it's the first day on the job, whatever it is, they post about it. They talk about it. And this microblogging and the photos are what I see as the future of everything, and the video, obviously. It is an amazing thing to see how people are moving. The generation is moving off of Facebook, and then they're actually moving now towards only things with photos, which is really incredible because, excuse me, really incredible because, a picture says 1,000 words when you only get 140 characters.
Right.
So it's really important to find out how do you capitalize on that.
So how does a brand adopt that, though? Because, not to sound overly traditional, conservative, and all that, but I've been trained in managing these Fortune 100 brands that are very concerned about the programming that they're associated with, and they don't want a Wall Street Journal article on that. And as much as they want to tap into the hearts and minds of the millennials and the stars, et cetera, there's a risk factor to the association based on from a privacy measure and just any other content.
I think that some of those walls have to be broken down to be able to reach the millennials because they need to feel a connection with you that they haven't felt with anything else. But I understand the concern, from a legal perspective and you don't want to have an article written about you that's negative, or do you? The question is, well, why not?
Right.
Well, because it's bad press. Well, okay, then if you're going to take that model, then you shouldn't be in the advertising game. Bad press is good press if you can pivot it into the correct position and doing it in the right way. Now, bad press, of course, bad press nobody wants, but being able to take some kind of press and leverage that for your new positioning of how you're going to roll it out, whatever it is, whether it's a product, whether it's a mission statement, whether it's a new brand, it's really, it's unique.
Right. So how do back to brands too and marketers? I mean, how do you think that they're going to operationally set up to manage this stuff? Because right now it's still a Mad Men traditional creative buy media fill holes type approach. Is this generation going to make all of that blow up?
No, I don't think that they're going to blow it all up. I think it's been working for years and it still is working, obviously. But there is a capacity of how do you get that extra little bit, and how do you break the mold. And brands that are doing something unique and disruptive, you have to be willing to take risk to get noticed. I think the space is so crowded, and it's how do you break through? First of all, your product has to be great. You have to have a great campaign, but you have to do something disruptive.
So this is ad tech. There's a technology, therefore bent to it. And there's
That's why I brought my little Samsung Note.
Yeah, you got all your devices up
there. It's the return of the stylus.
I'm surprised you haven't lost that yet. I would have broke that.
It's right into the phone. Oddly sexual, but
I don't know. That and the 3D glasses. What? We're here 70 years later and we're still wearing glasses.
Yeah. Well,
why is that?
Because they got to sell that product first before they can sell the screens without them.
That's probably true. Because you break them, you got to buy new ones, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of what's your favorite tech? What do you have personally in the home?
I run a Savant system in my home. Like I said, home automation is huge, so that's a big one for me. I love it. It's great. It's fully integrated, so I run lighting, thermostat control, security cameras. I can arm the house from anywhere, which is really cool.
Noted.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna love this. So, I love the programming side of it. I love the making it do anything you ever want. So I have a function that if someone breaks into my house, the alarm goes off.
Your girl's taking notes right here.
Yeah, exactly. The alarm goes off. All the lights come on. Obviously, it calls the police and does all that stuff. But what happens? All the speakers in the house, all the lights go on and off at a crazy increment all throughout the house, like as if you're going to have a seizure. And then throughout the entire speakers, I also have dog barking. Come on. I did it just for the sake of humor for myself. And I showed my wife. And she goes, "Why? Why are you doing this? Like, what's the need in this? If they're breaking into the house, what do you think this is going to do?" I'm like, if I broke into anyone's house and this happened, I would get the hell out of there. So that to me was something that I enjoy. It's making home integration something new. And companies like Savant are coming out with really great new products for this up and coming 2014. that are very economic for every household, because there's a bunch of companies out there that are promoting it, ADT and a bunch of other things that are talking about home integration. They have that ad now, oh, I'm sure you turned off all the lights, and he turns it off and the water goes off and all the things. Well, what they don't tell you is it's going to cost you about $150,000 to do all the things that he just said, he just put on, on his phone. But there's a new economic side that's really cool.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that, and I want to get back to that price point too.
And Uber as well.
Oh yeah,
that's a given.
Completely addicted. The media consumption, the cross screen. That's what all we can talk about right now is the ability for so households to have a multi-screen proposition. Your TV, your iPad, your tablet, your phones, and then even through digital outdoor, the mobility, the ability to start to push content around and in a sequential manner, et cetera.
It is our generation.
Yeah.
I can speak to it because I am a millennial. But I'm on my flight going from New York to LA on Virgin, and I'm watching something on the screen while checking email on my laptop while playing Candy Crush on my iPad. It's a problem, and we all know it's yeah. That's the other. I was checked. No medication
needed.
You're good?
I'm good.
Okay. It's because it's like one's not good enough. It's because there's got to be more going on, And now that I've discovered even on this phone the dual screen functionality, it's like this is great. Now I've got two things going at once. I don't need to be focused on one thing. I think what's really interesting for people is how do you incorporate that into one device and actually spread a message? All right, so you have multiple different platforms, and how do you integrate it all into one and make it, feel authentic but also feel organic? And
right.
It's hard. It really is, and I think that's why everyone's talking about it, cross platforms. Well, what I see for the future as a possibility is making it all one. Like I said, making it your own station. As we all have a lifeline, you're born, you have your midlife crisis, and then you pass on, and you have a lifeline. Well, Facebook is deemed obviously the timeline, and we do have a timeline, but there is a media line as well. And our media stream and our media line, if it could be integrated as one thing for all of it,
right.
Whether it was on one phone and a device that I love, and I could put everything I could ever imagine right there, which has started with apps. That was the first integration of a media line. I seeing it be more intuitive than that. I start to see that the apps will populate themselves according to the things you love.
Right.
And it's taking the effort taking the science out of it. Obviously, it started to happen with music. The Genius Bar. The minute the Genius Bar was introduced, people got introduced to so many more artists and albums. It's because you didn't have to put the effort in for the same result. And that's part of what's happening, is taking the effort out to get the same result. And I think you could do that in the cross-platform sense.
I think we're making a lot of progress in the cross-platform and also the delivery and even to the content. And this has been, I've been in digital for 20 years now, and we've always
You're that old?
Yes, I am very. I know I don't look it, but you have this ability to push this content now to account for it from a central. We're all phenomenal with the technology delivery. The advertising follows up with their answer of, let me interrupt that. Let me give you an overlay. Let me give you a pre-roll. Let me put something and obstruct the native environment of this. Mm-hmm. How does advertising, in your mind, get to the point where it's following the same scope of technology? How does a brand follow the same type of path? Or an example, if you've seen one.
Warby Parker.
Yeah.
I think that's creating an app that it's fun to use, right? It's innovative. It's taking their product and selling you something. And I saw the ad on TV, obviously traditional advertising platform, but it made me go get it. I tried it out, and now I'm hooked. And now I want to go buy these glasses and this glasses and this glasses because I've been able to be socially accepted by what I've already put out there before I purchased anything.
Right.
It's almost like they got to test the market prior to actually purchase, and it's the test to purchase thing was really kind of unique because it's kind of like getting a free sample. 9 times out of 10, after you get a free sample, the next time you come back, you're probably going to buy something if you really liked it. So it's kind of doing that same concept in a cool digital place.
Right.
And it's disruptive. It's like you could go down to the store and do it, or you could send in and they send you a box of glasses and you do the same thing, and that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. Before we got a few more minutes and take a few questions from the crowd, why don't you tell us what's next? little bit of what the next chapter is. And
for myself focus. Or for technology?
For your focus, you.
For me? Well, right now I'm going to be focused on more of my business side. You know, I've had an entrepreneurial side for many years and things I've been passionate about, and it's been something I've had to put on the back burner for years, doing something else that I loved, and I put the focus there. But now I get to branch out to different environments and speak on behalf of Millennials in a capacity towards brands, because I've been able to do it for such a long time with our brand and be successful in it, and working with creative teams, and we'll see where it goes. And I think that I'll be able to transition into something great. Awesome,
excellent. Okay, guys, we've got a couple minutes for questions. Anybody have anything? I don't know. Do we have some microphones in the...
I actually love this question. Hey, have you heard from Andres? I don't know how I'm saying. I don't know your last name. I apologize. Moriello. Hey, Kevin Jonas, have you considered a Jonas Brothers hit instead of the barking dogs for the pattern alarm sound? Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Which one would you use?
Oh, I don't know.
Burning up.
Yeah, no.
I know this.
It's good.
I've got kids. Come on.
Who knows? Maybe next time I will.
It's a good. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We've actually had 3 break-ins. Never mind.
Let's see. Somebody was asking about your beard too. Whether that's been natural or are you trimming it?
That's just a
scruff, right?
That's just the scruff, I don't know. It's Movember. I guess I have to shave into a mustache, don't I?
Okay, we got any questions out here? I can't see really. I know you guys are dying to ask a question right here. I hear the giggling from here. Go ahead.
Could you sing a song, please?
What?
Could you sing a song?
Oh, no. No, not today. I'm not wearing that hat today, but maybe next time.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Mexico.
Oh, you from Mexico?
Yes.
Oh, hola, Mexico. There you go. Cool.
Okay, let's pull up one more. Just got a couple minutes here, guys. What's your favorite app? What are you using right now? That's one of these.
Apps that make you spend money without actually feeling like you do. Things like Fancy. Fancy is a great app. I love Fancy. Obviously, Candy Crush is a problem. We Vine. We're getting into Keek. Actually, Keek is cool. I think, and of course, Savant is the app that runs the house. Yeah, and of course Twitter and Instagram and standards, but...
This is interesting. I don't even say this word.
I'm not ignoring you, I'm trying to read people's questions, that's all.
If you could create your own platform, what would be included and how would it be useful to the next or even current generation from Chastity? Life as Chas.
When you say platform, in what capacity? Like you mean...
There's one T in that, by the way.
Media platform?
They don't specify. So maybe, well, honestly, with Twitter going public today, and then there's a little bit of a cooling on Facebook, and you're reading about some of this slight, but
I think that there's a community out there of bloggers and people that are, there's so many people out there speaking about things that they're passionate about, and it's about maybe collecting those people into one place that is unique and fun, so you don't have to travel to so many different destinations. I think something like that would be fun.
You said that earlier. You're starting to see
with different lifestyle brands.
Different
lifestyle brands,
right?
Whether it's food, fun, fashion, things like that. The entertainment space.
You had said earlier about video and graphical-based Pinterest and YouTube, etc. I mean, is that where we're headed? Is it just is the written word going to be?
I believe that it is. I think that other than some forms in some capacity, I went to the bookstore for the first time with my wife, and we wanted to go get the first books for our daughter, and we realized that every book comes with a QR code for the digital book, and then I started to realize this is going to be interesting.
Right.
I wonder how many books she'll actually read compared to wanting to read them that come to life on her iPad. So it was starting to say, like, well, we're going to be heading towards something very unique. And have you seen the video of the baby trying to turn the page
on the magazine?
Yeah. That's our future.
That's awesome.
It's totally awesome, and it gets me excited. There's a company that you actually sent me, I've heard about from NYU, that has a baby onesie that monitors the breathing, all of the stuff, and I was like, buying it, gonna get it, do it. My wife told me today there's no way in hell, because she goes, I don't want all those Wi-Fi rays and Bluetooth. I'm like, trust me, they're everywhere anyway, or in this house. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So it's not something.
Mimo, right? Mimo-ware?
Mimo, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Brilliant, brilliant. Okay, guys, well, we're wrapped. Oh, we have a question, sir.
Yes.
You talked about being disruptive, and it seems to me in your next phase of entrepreneurialness,
yes,
you probably want to apply that disruptiveness.
Absolutely.
But can you talk maybe about what you would see as being really disruptive within this marketplace?
Yeah, I think something like I said about the Snapchat, taking a platform that people are using and not doing it for something that is, using it for something of your own gain, but doing something different with it. Whether that's Instagram, whether that's Twitter, but I see Snapchat as an opportunity to do a fun way of upselling, and I think it's unique. But being disruptive, it's like I said, taking risks for companies that typically wouldn't, because they have too much to lose. But sometimes those things really, if you're willing to make the next step, you really will have a beneficial gain.
Right. From my perspective, this thing has to, from a disruption, it also is, it's not just technological, it's generational, where the millennials, if they're going to actually apply the technology, the dollars, and the ad support to it, they actually need to be in charge of it as well. And a lot of these things need to blow up.
Yeah, I think also giving them partial ownership. Let's talk about the unemployment rate for a second. Like you said before, 13%. Well, okay, well, they just brought down the hourly minimum wage as well. So now it went from 40 hours a week to now to 30 hours a week. They did increase the payment, obviously, for certain, for certain things, but your max minimum wage work week is 30 hours, no matter what you do. That's going to be very tough to move up in any capacity. In any workplace, work from, and it's going to limit the amount of dollars spent by the company itself, and it's going to drive people to try to be creative, and I think that's what our future is at.
What are your thoughts on the YouTube Music Awards in terms of the technology, the marketing? Any thoughts about that?
Can you say that again? I couldn't hear that
first YouTube Awards, what are your thoughts about that?
I thought it was great. Obviously it's a platform that should have had an award show for a long time. We use YouTube Vivo as the first platform for all things when it comes to music now. Whether it's pushing it out on your social sites, but that's the place that it goes. Music videos are no longer, there's not a channel anymore other than something you have to pay for on cable. MTV rarely plays them, and it's a society that I believe still wants to see them, but they live online. So having an award show that you're able to congregate and make it special only increases the value of the actual music video. So people are going to want to do more of them and create something, because then if you're a small artist and you do something great for a video and you get public recognition, that will transcend, where then maybe potentially your song and as an artist will then become a hit.
But to the point, I didn't see it, but I read about it, and they had Gaga and some other big stars out there, but they didn't have a big audience. They didn't draw. It was in the thousands of people that actually did the views, and I think that they missed me, and that's strange. I don't get that, because the power of her audience is significant. And I don't think that they focused enough on maybe some of the independent no-name people as well.
Well, those are the people that are making real waves.
Yeah.
You see people on YouTube. I have a friend who we took on tour with us. This is a perfect case study of it. He is a DJ. He takes his voice. He makes all the music from his voice and does covers. They blew up. They're doing, they've blown up, and now he's starting to do it live. We loved it, so we thought, let's take you on the road with us. We took him on the road with us. He started, performing. It worked out really well. He just did a huge campaign with the Major League Baseball for Take Me Out to the Ball Game as the promotion during the World Series. Those things, it's like one little thing to the next. It's because he's creating something special, and and that's it's an amazing thing that it's an amazing time in technology and in entertainment, because you have an opportunity to be absolutely no one with no money and create something very special, and not corny, and not not another one-hit little YouTube sensation. We're talking true. We're talking true artists and true,
right.
long-term artistry, which is really cool.
You mentioned you deleted your Twitter account, right? With 7 million users, and Twitter just went public yesterday.
Yeah.
So, what is your take on advertising for advertising as a revenue model for Twitter? As Facebook's already starting to prove it.
Yeah.
Their third quarter was great. What is your take on advertising as a revenue model for Twitter?
I think I think if it's done right and done in an organic way, I think it'll be great and huge. It will be interesting to see if they can live up to if the stock will stay at where it is or if it will drop down. But I think that they've got a lot to live up to because of Facebook's incredible last quarter. But I do believe that there's a lot of opportunity, and if it's capitalized and done right and done in an integrated way, and I know those guys as you do, and they're really excited about disruptive ways of marketing their ads and really making it organic. And I think that their long-term business plan is going to be stronger than the immediate.
Just a point of clarification, he deleted the Jonas Brothers account, not his.
Yeah.
Still. So, yeah. I still would like those 7 million followers. So.
Whatever.
And we got time for one more, ma'am.
Hi.
Oh, sorry.
Here in the red.
Somebody
She's
speak.
coming to you.
So I think you've done a great job characterizing the millennials, and you've talked so much about innovation, and you're obviously an icon to that entire group of individuals. How have you shared your vision of being innovative in a way that helps drive the betterment of the world and reduce unemployment and some of those other things that you were talking about? Because there is a relationship, and I'm wondering
Absolutely.
if you've been able to kind of inspire them in a way to help move the needle.
Absolutely. For our focus for a long time, we have a charity called Jonas Brothers Change for the Children Foundation, and for a long time we've been able to donate and raise a lot of money over the last 6 years. We've been able to raise over $5 million, and it's been incredible. But what it's really been able to see is their activity in the local markets, getting them active in a small scale, and it's about volunteerism in this capacity, but just seeing how active they can get when they don't realize that there's so many opportunities right at their doorstep to become unique in their own way when it comes to charity. So doing something that they love, whether it's volunteerism because they can play the guitar well. I'll say, let me teach another person to play guitar. There's a company that does that through social, which is really great. And we've been able to partner with a bunch of different brands. But moving the needle with what you're saying, I feel like I have an opportunity now, maybe, to speak out to that, and hopefully we can see what happens in years to come with jobs and different things. But there is an opportunity for a lot of people to make something great of themselves now, and the millennial generation is the me generation. It's all about me and the people around me, and how do I make it the best for me. And I think that what we need to move out of is taking the I and moving it to us, and really kind of work together to really grow that, to build jobs for each other, and building a place where people can work in a fun and innovative way. Because the problem is, we can all go and get a job, but the thing is, we want to do something we love. And I think that that's hard for millennials to break through, because if you're not doing something you love, doing something you love, I think they have a hard time understanding why they're going to do it. So hopefully I can speak to that in the future.
All right, thank you all. I'm going to call Mr. Wolfman back out to the stage.
Hey everyone, we're just going to close up. By the way, while I was backstage, shot Dick Costello an email, said you guys were talking, and he said, thanks Ian, thanks Kevin. On the way back, on the way back on the plane, crazy day, happy to be on my way back to SF to get back to work. Not sure I believe that. All right.
That'd be one great
in any
plane
case, fantastic. I just want to thank our guests, our keynote guests, Sean, Kevin, Jonas. Thank you. And I would like to take a second to recognize and thank our hosts. I think it's their first year producing end-to-end an amazing ad tech. So Paul Traynor and Amy Allen. Can we get a little round of applause for our ad tech host? Thank you very much.
By the way,
remember to look at San Fran. We're already programming that. It's going to be an amazing show, and we'll see you in 6 months in San Francisco. Thanks, everyone.
By the way, guys, one quick thing. That picture Kevin took at the beginning has already 11,444 likes. So the motto is become a celebrity. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your time, everybody.